get funky.
All right. Welcome to the Bizz. We're back yet again. This is your man Daniels D Money up in Simi Valley, Cali.
And this is Aaron down in San Diego, the Mile High Salute.
Right. Yeah, from those Broncos. We're looking for them. We're looking for them this year. So, topic tonight first, an arrest has been made in the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Took them long enough.
It did take them long enough. Today is May 7th, 2020, right? And this shooting took place on February 23rd. So I guess the question is, why did it take so long for these arrests to happen?
Several reasons. I did a little research earlier today, and because the father in this case, the older of the two suspects, father and son, is a former investigator and a former police officer, the district attorneys had to recuse themselves. So the first one came in, I know this guy. Conflict of interest, had to recuse himself. Second guy, same thing. Third guy, same thing. They had to go to another county to get a different attorney that didn't know this guy, so they could go through that process. At that time is when the COVID thing started to happen. So everything got shut down. And, keep in mind this is the South. So, I don't know that if all the celebrities and all the, people got the pot stirred that, that this wouldn't happen. But
right, because we just got the sensational media story just a few days ago that, oh my God, this happened, there's no arrest, and then 3 days later there's arrests. But it's been almost 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So we have these recusals, right? I guess the current district attorney recused himself because he knew the guy. But my question is, I guess, all right, let's say I am the district attorney in Georgia right now, or whatever town that happened in, right? I'm the district attorney, and this case comes in, and I see the evidence. Even if I know the guy, shouldn't, by law, you should be able to say, all right, we need to arrest him. I can't try the case, but someone needs to go get this guy.
This is true,
and maybe that's the conflict of interest, and maybe I don't understand that well enough, but
I think there's a few things working here. One, he's a former cop, and I'm not anti-cop, but there's a brotherhood there. Two,
true,
this is the South, and we all know what we're talking about when we say the South.
When we're talking about good old America,
good old boy, part of the country where, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours a little harder because this is the South.
Right.
And then, that's the America with the 3 Ks. But there should have been an arrest immediately. 2 against 1, both are armed. Guy on the ground is not armed.
Right, open and shut, you would think, right? So
So for an arrest,
right? So the first district attorney, I know the guy. Is it really about I know this guy, so I don't want anything to do with it. Let's let the next guy deal with it because I know him. I don't want to get involved, or I don't want there to be,
I think it's more of you're not allowed to be involved.
And I understand that they're not allowed. So I guess I'm wondering. All right, I see the case. It happens on the district attorney. I know I'm not allowed, but shouldn't I be able to say to somebody, arrest the guy? I can't try. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. So all right. So he recused himself. The next dude comes in. How many guys recuse themselves?
3 people, and they tried to get a grand jury to convene to move forward with this process. And again, this is when the COVID thing hit. All the courts are shut down. Even here, all the courts are backlogged.
So it took a matter of weeks after all the 3 recusals because this happened on February 23rd, but the last day I went to work was March 12th, which is,
a couple weeks after.
Yeah, a good 3 weeks or so after.
It's interesting because in Georgia, as an open carry state, you can carry a gun as long as you're have it registered or whatever. And there's also you have the ability to make a citizen's arrest, but the caveat is you have to see the crime being committed. Right. So
you can't just roll up Joe Schmo and think that he looks like the
Exactly.
guy who robbed the 7-Eleven and say, I'm going to arrest him.
So apparently there were some robberies, 2 robberies earlier in the year. So, at least a month before this day. This guy's on the 23rd, Ahmaud's jogging down the street, and the transcript that the 2 suspects gave the police was, we saw him run past our house. He said, that looks like the guy that has been robbing us from a month ago. So they said, get the truck, grab their weapons, and literally chased him down. So we know that there was no crime committed that day.
Right. Which negates the whole citizen's arrest thing.
Yes. And they even said that in the statement. This looks like the guy that committed a crime a month ago. You have to see the crime happening.
You do. Or at least there needs to be some type of evidence that leads you to believe that they committed the crime that just happened.
Yes. And this is my whole issue with the citizen's arrest thing. You're giving power to Joe Schmo, who may not know the law, whereas police officers deal with the law every day. So they're going to be a little bit more versed than the average Joe on matters like this.
And keep in mind, you're giving power to Joe Schmo, who may not know the law, but is able to, carry a concealed weapon.
Yeah.
Right? Or are they concealed? I know do they have to be concealed?
I think it's open carry.
Okay.
It's open carry. So it's just kind of like Texas, but it's and the other power that people have is, okay, let's say you decided to make a citizen's arrest and you're holding the guy at gunpoint. They give the people the power to have, how do I say it? Shoot the person in front of them. They give them the ability to use lethal force. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, so judge, jury, executioner, that whole 9.
Yeah, to the regular citizens, which defeats the purpose of Georgia having a judicial system. It makes no sense. So that's my issue. You give it's not an anti-gun thing. You give regular people way too much power.
Way too much power. All right.
Everybody can't be the police.
Right. For sure. Thank God. Right.
Yeah.
Some of the police shouldn't be the police. And again,
yeah.
I'm not anti-police either. Not by any stretch. They have a job to do, and I respect it. Those who do it, and do what they're supposed to do. So yeah, we got these legal things. This guy got recused, and this guy recused himself, and this guy recused himself, and then by the time we get around to the grand jury thing, COVID happens. It pushes it back, right? Months.
Until today, when we get an arrest. But even then, you can't put this guy in front of a judge because the court is still closed. So they're sitting in some jail, Glynn County Jail, wherever it's called, and they're just sitting there. There's no bail for murder. That's one of the things I noticed. Is what they were arrested for. It's murder and aggravated assault, not manslaughter, because this is probably murder too, because I don't think either of them actually knew Ahmaud.
Right, so it wasn't premeditated. Well, because that's murder 1, right? Premeditated.
Correct.
Planned it, you plotted it.
Yeah.
All right.
What gets me with this whole thing is the dad is a former police officer, so if anybody should know better,
he should know.
Yeah. This is what you did for a living for X amount of years.
Based on the fact that he should have known, but things still transpired the way they did, what are we left with? What are we led to believe? That, he is a member of the good old boy state with the America with days?
Okay, let's go back to the 911. I'll answer that question with the 911 transcripts. 2 separate calls were made on that day. Both callers said, there's a black man running down the street on whatever that street is. Okay, so both 911 operators say, well, what did he do? Both calls, silence. Question never got answered.
What are they going to say?
I mean, it implies
while black.
Yes, it implies. Think about the statement. There's a black man running down our street. It implies that he's not supposed to be on our street.
Right.
That's a little speculation, but it's what's not said. 2 separate people, 911 calls. It's interesting. Now, both operators said, what did he do? No response.
Well, because he hadn't done anything. There was no crime being committed except for his murder, right? Again, which totally negates the citizen's arrest defense.
Keep in mind, this is a Confederate neighborhood. That's not a secret. That's not speculation. Confederate flags right next to the American flag. They lost, by the way. Fun fact.
Well, hey, here's another fun fact. Just because they lost doesn't mean that they're eradicated or gone. I mean, the 49ers just lost the most recent Super Bowl, but they're planning for another season. You know what I'm saying? Just because you lose doesn't mean you...
Salt right in the wound.
That's right. Tell your wife that was for her.
Oh, my God.
But
she's going to get you.
yeah, they lost. The Confederates lost, but it doesn't mean that, the children of the children of the children are still being taught,
This is true. I've been saying it for years. We're already cloning. It's called having a kid. Because you have a lot of power as a parent to mold that young person.
True. And whatever you believe, right or wrong, you pretty much imprint it on that kid as they grow. All right, so the first district attorney guy, whoever it was, I guess whoever initially looked at this case said, and maybe it was the first district attorney, I don't know. Someone said that, yeah, he looked at the case and he thought the guy was well within his rights to commit whatever crime he committed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we don't hear anything about it at all. And then 3 months later, nothing is happening. So is it really all this legal mumbo jumbo, the recusals and the COVID happening, timely, it happened, right? Is it really that, or is it just that it's the South? And
I think in this case, it's a combination of both. If, let's say, the dad wasn't a cop, he's just a regular guy that lives in the neighborhood, there may have been an arrest a little bit faster, but I think once you say somebody's name who's been in the department for 20, 30 years or whatever, everybody knows that guy. It's a whole small town vibe. I can't really relate to it being from Los Angeles, so I don't know anything about small town life. I just know that everybody knows everybody.
Right.
And the minute you mention somebody's name, oh, I know him.
I know him, right?
No way he did that.
Right, yeah. All right, well, I mean, you heard our buzzer, so we're winding down here, but it took 3 months to happen. It happened down in Georgia, the South, good old boy, all that good stuff. May I leave you with this question, and maybe this is something we can discuss on another segment. Would it have taken as long in Georgia if the McMichaels, because that's their names, the McMichaels, were black and Ahmaud was white?
Probably not. On that same street, probably the McMichaels, if the races were switched, the McMichaels wouldn't have made it out of that neighborhood.
Or they could have been locked up. Pretty.
One or the other within 10 minutes. It's, well, again, we all know what's meant when you say the South.
Right. Yeah. And I guess, we can just sit back and watch the spectacle unravel, because that's what it's going to be. Hopefully justice will be served, but they have been arrested, and we'll see what's up. We'll see what's next.
We'll revisit the topic in a couple months, because courts still aren't open. So maybe towards the end of the year, we'll get closer to some type of answer or result.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eyes on it, and I'm sure everyone out there will keep your eyes on it. Hope you guys enjoyed our topic tonight. If you liked, please hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. All right. The Bizz is signing off. D-Money.
A-Rob.
And we're out.
Bizz.